The Italian Riviera, one of the most beautiful places in Europe, and home to one of the most unique gardens in the world. To visit most farms, you'll want to put on boots and blue jeans. At this one, you have to put on scuba gear. My kind of farm. It's in the Ligurian Sea, offshore from Noli, Italy. The project was conceived by Italian businessman Sergio Gamberini, owner of Ocean Reef Group. His son, Luca, along with project manager Gianni Fontanesi, now head up the project. It's called Nemo's Garden, but the name doesn't come from the famous animated lost clownfish. This place is straight up Jules Verne. For 600 years, ending in 1797, this was the capital of the Savona Province on the western side of the Ligurian Sea. Today, it is one of the few remaining places in the region where fishermen still go out every night to bring home the bacon. Well, fish. During the day, their boats become gathering places for swimmers and sunbathers. And the cappuccino doppio gives us the will to carry on. The pebbled beaches are lined with bagni, the bathhouses. One of these, Bagni Letizia, is base of operations for Nemos Garden. The garden is just offshore and comprises a half-dozen domed structures that they call biospheres, in depths ranging from 3 to 12 meters. The metal sculpture in the center of the complex is called the Tree of Life. The original art was commissioned for the Italian pavilion at the 2015 Milano Expo. To quote a report published by the Nemo team, underwater greenhouses offer near-perfect growing conditions thanks to the steady temperatures and high amounts of carbon dioxide inside the biospheres that create a microclimatic buffering effect. In addition to the advantages offered by the stable thermal conditions, plants are also protected from harmful external elements, such as insects and parasites. Crop yields also benefit from the microclimate inside the biospheres, as the humidity and exceptionally high carbon dioxide concentrations, which aid photosynthesis, cause plants to grow significantly faster than they do on land. The biospheres are harnessed to the seafloor by a system of chains, cables, ropes, and sand screws. The engineering and construction of the garden complex make this a masterpiece worthy of Da Vinci himself. We'll talk more later about just how well constructed they are. The shallow depths and proximity to the shore allow swimmers and snorkelers to see the domes from above. In addition to being an important scientific experiment, it has also become a popular tourist attraction. Through a tech box inside each dome, the garden complex is monitored by sensors and Wi-Fi. A cluster of cables transports data to the shore, where it is collected in the command center. There's even a video feed to the cafe at Bagni Letizia. The big day has come, the harvest. We are joined by journalists from Germany and France. Together, we cover the action as Gianni and Luca submerge to begin the process. Gianni unties the protective barrier from below the first biosphere, and we follow him in. This is the first time that our cameras have been allowed inside the structures. The first thing he does is take a big sniff of the air inside the dome. Turns out this was a really good idea. I sincerely wish that we had smell-o-vision because the blended fragrance of the basil, lavender, and other herbs and vegetables is absolutely intoxicating. One of the many things that the team intends to accomplish is to make the biospheres self-sustaining, and that includes apparatus for the domes to be able to irrigate the crops inside. Gianni explains that the differences between temperatures and conditions inside and outside the domes create a considerable amount of condensation. This is, of course, fresh water, and there's an almost inexhaustible supply. Luca joins Gianni to help with the harvest, but first, they conduct a live broadcast over Facebook for their many fans.
With the moment like last time, but that was me. Some exciting news.
They meticulously select plant specimens, double bag them, and send them to a kayak waiting at the surface. This evening, Gianni will transport them to a laboratory in Pisa for analysis. Back at their base camp at Bagni Letizia, Gianni explains what will happen next.
We need to scale this project up if we want to have it like a proper underwater greenhouses. So we want to have more production, we would like to have more auto-sustainability of the system, so we are working towards that direction. But on the other hand, it's a new underwater observatory, so the feeling, you try, the feeling of getting inside a bubble with all the fish outside looking at you is like being inside of a reverse aquarium.
Right.
A kind of weird feeling at the beginning. It's like, where am I? So I see plants, I see the sun, and there's a fish behind the plant, so it's like, it's a little bit weird, I would say. But
I loved it though, I thought it was great.
The night after the harvest, I made a solo dive on the site. Through an application on his mobile phone, Gianni was kind enough to turn on the underwater lights for me. Other creatures came out to enjoy the display, and it was transcendent. As I traversed the complex for the next 90 minutes, I kept expecting to see Captain Nemo and his helmeted crew emerge from the darkness. Other times it was like being part of an intergalactic mission to explore the universe for strange new worlds and new civilizations. Of course, neither Captain Nemo nor Kirk ever materialized, but I did consider this little fellow a more than adequate consolation prize. In Seahorse World, it's the male that carries the babies, as this one's doing. He nonchalantly swayed on his rope in the gentle current and allowed me to experiment with lighting and get very close for about half the dive. He spent so much time in front of the camera that I'm pretty sure he qualifies for a SAG card now. Normally, this is the part where I would roll closing credits and call it a film. But remember in the first reel when I told you that we would talk later about the construction of the biosphere complex? Well, unfortunately, Mother Nature has a nasty way of throwing the occasional curveball. On October 30, about a month and a half after we were there, a violent storm laid siege to Liguria, and considerable damage was sustained above and below the waterline. On shore, the surge laid waste to boats and most of the businesses on the beachfront. Bagni Letizia was not spared. Nor was Nemos Garden. When they saw the devastation on land, the team feared the worst for the undersea component. And this is the bit that would make old Leonardo proud.
The project is safe. I'm very happy, and actually I'm pretty proud to say that the engineering was amazing. We have footage of our project coordinator Gianni and Gabriele approaching the location of the biospheres, and they thought nothing was going to be there. They literally say they're alive. The biospheres are there, not damaged. The equipment inside, of course, suffered a big hit. The cabling system were all basically messed up. But it's nice not to be in the position where we need to start from zero again, actually. We have a pretty good start, and this is going to teach us a lot on how to make a better structure and make it so that we can withstand even an exceptional event as the one we had.
at the beginning we couldn't see the biospheres, but then when we almost hit the first biosphere, we were like, oh my God, it's still there, it's still floating. And you know, like, it was incredible, like, undescribable. I feel like nothing can really stop us. So it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be tough. You're talking about like months and months of extra work, and you're talking about like huge investment that we need to, we need to do in the next months. But I'm sure that we will become stronger than we were.
We saved some plants, which is great. We saved a lot of equipment. We definitely saved the biospheres, and that's great. We'll just have to roll up our sleeves and keep working.
Lo spettacolo deve continuare. The show must go on. We plan to return to Nemos Garden someday to see how the experiment is progressing. In the meantime, sono Paul Cater Deaton. Ci vediamo sotto le vole. I'm Paul Cater Deaton, and I'll see you under the bubbles.